talk about this, right? Um, and I hate the fact that it's now being weaponized when you hear people tell you to go get therapy, go get psychological help, and go, what they say, they try to throw around and say that you have Asperger's or you have, all of these things that they're doing and saying, it it's starting to be more muddy water. You starting to see therapists, you starting to see therapists who come out and they sounding so fucked up and they getting fired for their ethics. Um, Let me tell you this right now, right? Therapy, the mental health industry wasn't created to help men. It was created to help women only. It chased out men who wants to help men. All right? You know how? I'm going to show you. So, the mental health industry does not intend to help men, but it's not intended to help men, but it's systemic. While men, for roughly 80% of what's it called life takings, 4 times more likely to buy what than women. So they're trying to pretend that somehow it's this stigma and everything else. So here we go. The failure rates. Therapist failure rates are generally by client dropout and non-response, showing a 20 to 50% client drop off, and 3 or 10% of clients experience worsening, and roughly 50% shows a limited to no significant critical improvement. This is your AI exposing that the mental health industry doesn't do shit. You know how I know? Let's talk about I was supposed to use that in another video. God damn no. I want to tell you, I have read over 80 self-deletion notes from men. I have read over 20 something self-deletion notes from women. The funny thing about these notes, and you see what leads up to them, is that almost all of them were seeing some therapist or therapy that didn't work. On the men's side, usually they go through about 10 therapists that never helped them. And then the last one, well, didn't do it. So why is everybody thinking that therapy is some magic tool, that we have class A therapists that helps everybody and fixes everybody mentally? Why they keep thinking that? Oh, it's because they try to rewire you to be some simp guy. There's a couple of therapists that are getting sued right now because they're trying to put LGBTQ community plus shit inside guys' heads, telling them that they're better off being gay or trans. Oh, they're not going to talk about that, right? You know how I know that the industry is a failure? Remember her. Remember the beauty pageant lawyer who was the antithesis of feminist views? There's a video from Brian Solange who saw her berating a guy in the park because this guy tried to go up and talk to her friend, and she just was berating the guy, calling him names, saying he's creepy. And I bet you that guy, when he found out that she did that, jumped off that roof, he probably laughed. It was a 60-story building. Yeah, she really wanted to get out of here. But mind you, she had a few therapists. Her mom even talked about that. Your healthcare system is a failure, even with the line. Look, the self deletion hotlines are useless for people struggling with mental illness. The life taking is a public failure. I called the
battery level is 95%.
I called the life taking hotline last year and I was put on hold. So now the CDC says roughly 48,000 to 49,000 life taking happens, self deletion happens, and the average is over 130 a day. Wow. Those therapists and those psychologists are sure doing a good job right there. They sure doing a good job. See, they don't have no programs for men to be in the health industry. They don't have programs like they do women. Have you ever asked anybody who wanted to be? I know one dude who wanted to work in the mental health industry to help men. And he asked how many programs or grants that was for men to, go in faster, because he knew a whole bunch of women who got grants and stuff to help so-called women, but it was none for men. And then he found out that their whole structure was not about helping men in general. It was always catered towards women. And he bounced out. Dropped out like, nah, I was told that this was supposed to help everybody, but somehow y'all making it all about women. So, we got that already. So, there was a guy in 2020 that his name was Ronnie McNutt. He took his own life on Facebook. Do you know how disrespectful YouTube was? The same YouTube who will take videos down, and if you said the wrong thing and this and this and that. The video was up for 48 hours. And they were clowning him taking his own life because it was a man. I was pissed at that time, and I think I made a video about that. When I said, wow, they're really showing their disdain for men. So, let me show you. So I don't lie. The criticism was aimed at social media companies for automatically monetizing failure and delays in removing the highly graphic and triggering content. They let it stay up on every website in 2020. A man blowing his own head off, and they was making videos about it, laughing about it. That's when I knew that this whole hate bullshit that was going on, hate men shit, it was going to get a lot worse. I'll never forget that. Where it was on YouTube for the graphic details for 48 hours. So there was a skydiver who left her husband and got with somebody at her own skydiving or whatever, right? That's what the story is, if I didn't mix it up. And she decided to take her own life because she ruined her own life for lust. Instead of facing what she did, oh, my bad. Her therapist told her that she was okay to cheat and change her life. Maybe. And then that was the wrong move. And then she jumped she jumped 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet. She left a note. She split from her husband, and the couple married, blah blah blah, but the couple split. So, blah blah blah. People talked about that a couple years ago. I remember this.
The battery is fully charged.
This is your society right here. Rich family who pushes their daughter to do too much, and she ended up taking her own life in order to escape the overbearing parents who is pushing her too hard to things that she don't want to do. And how many therapists you think she had? Because her parents probably thought that, hey, if we push it too hard, we can just get a therapist to patch it up. I remember this one, and I think I made a video of this. I'm coming home, Dad. Make some room up in the clouds. Self-deletes after posting heartbreaking, life-taking note on website. So, this is her. I forgot what the note was. I forgot where the note is. So we're gonna read some of it. Here we go. I have written this note. Okay. I have written this note several times in my life for over a decade. This is the one and final. Oops. This is the one. This one finally feel right. No edits, no overthinking. I accept that hope is nothing more delayed. Blah blah blah. I'm realizing that this way is we have a great life on paper. Unfortunately, I ate a lot of meals. Only imagine. I'm unfortunate to eat meals most only imagine. I traveled. God, you piece of crap. I accepted, blah, blah, blah. But I'm feeling old fashioned. I'm feeling tired. Okay, this advertisement messed me up. Only imagine. I live alone in the second greatest American city, San Francisco, and blah blah blah. All the farce seem trivial to me, but it's ultimately a first world problem. I get it. I feel detached while in a room full of my favorite people. I also feel nothing during what should have been my happiest and darkest time in my life. Not one single conversation or situation has led me to make this decision. So at this point, metaphorically pulled the trigger. I'm going to miss doing things. Oh my God. I'm going to miss doing things that I was getting good at. Okay. She talking about the food. You can read that. I'm going to miss unexpected hugs, owls, blah, blah, blah. The Golden Gate, making eye contact with people walking down the street. Uh, Jeopardy, I love you, last night, junk food, blah, blah, blah. No GoFundMe's, no funerals, no tributes, no doing too much. All I ask for you is to have one delicious meal. It's satisfying for me. Please try to remember me as a whole human that you remember and not my final act. This is not your fault. This is not exactly easy for me either. I'm here, I love you, and I'm always have and I always will. I promise, blah blah blah. I'm coming home and I'm sorry, Mom. So this is somebody, God damn it. This is somebody who is the perfect picture perfect life with therapists, who single, who goes out with friends, who pretty much took their own life because, well, emptied. Wow, the therapist did a pretty good job out there, huh? And remember when I told you that some men take their own life because they really never really wanted to have a family, they never really wanted to be with a wife, and they end up with an unhappy life. They end up with an unhappy life with a wife they never wanted, and with a kid that doesn't appreciate them, or the fact is that wife is so make them so miserable they don't want to be here anymore. There's a lot of self-deletion fathers out there, right? Because they're not appreciated and they stuck with this woman and they don't want to be called deadbeat, so they snap. This is probably one of them. They said the dad took his own life too. This happened back in, I remember this, in 2019. No, I think it was not 2019. It was like, I think in 2020. Let me check. Let me see. Uh, let's see. She was found by hanging inside of the apartment after a colleague's welfare check. But yeah, your therapist, they did a good job with this one, right? They do a real great job with these people, right? And the funny thing about these people who talk shit about men and say women are the best and women are this and great, they never see this shit coming. Their friends, the people that be around dancing and stuff, they never do that because they're a lot selfish. It's about them, how they feel. And they don't even know how to read energy. I saved about 2 people in my life from taking their lives. Why? Because I had the insight to know what the fuck was going on. But some of these other people, they just like to point the finger and talk shit and pretend that they know everything. And when stuff happens, they don't. They're surprised. The mental health industry wasn't made to help men. It was made for women. And even then, you have a bunch of feminist therapists out there telling women what they want to hear and not telling them what they need to hear. And then these women end up taking their own lives. They have the perfect lives. The perfect lives. They make a lot of money. But they're still not happy. If they can fail the women and the women are being catered to, what do you think they doing for men? When these same women loathe men. And I was told out here too that they force some of these therapists have actually pushed men to take their own lives. They misdiagnose them, or they do some kind of voodoo trick, or should I say a suggestion to make the guys take their own life. I remember on Facebook there was this woman who was so-called counselor, and every time guys would talk to her, they would take their life. There was like 3 or 4 of them. Mind you, people, long-time listeners, or long-time supporters, they know this person. Me and this person went back and forth. Her name was Nikki something, and she was supposed to be a therapist. But every single guy that went to her ended up taking his own life. And I called her out on that shit, and that's when she got mad at me and started making me to her enemy. Let me show you her. So I found her. So this is the lady who every single time a man went to her, they end up taking their own lives. And when I called that out, she became my bitter enemy. Now, mind you, this is a very long time ago. But this is what she had on her profile. Nikki the therapist, counselor. Mind you, she was black. And soon as I criticized her, she snapped on me and started calling all types of names. It showed me that she had mental illness herself. How many of these therapists have mental illnesses? And I can show you just the kind of shit that she was talking about me. This is your therapist talking a whole bunch of shit. So I had my run-in with a so-called therapist, a whole bunch of their so-called female therapists, and none of them show professionalism. Oh yeah, let's show you another guy who wasn't there. What's his name? What's that guy's name again? D the D
folks, our own resident therapist in this space has been arrested. D. Darrell, y'all know him. Been on many panels, my panel before and stuff.
So, at one point, your boy D. Darrell was in the Black Manosphere trying to throw his credentials around about him being a therapist. It turned out that he used dead people's social security to benefit off of it. Tell me again that why people keep talking about go get help or therapists when most of them are frauds and have patients and they're talking shit online and they're assaulting people. But hey,